Hello and welcome back to the Kerbal Space program. My name is WW Dadman, but you already know that. That's not the one that I want. That's the one that I want. As per usual, if we're starting on the main menu, there is something new. In this case, the Breaking Ground DLC is finally out. So let's get into a new save game, a new sandbox. Breaking Ground. And have a look at the new stuff. Thanks, Gene. So first of all, new parts. Thanks, Werner. Yeah, these are new. Those are still the same. So nothing to really write home about here. But since we will need something to put stuff on, I'm going to put something here. In fact, we're actually also gonna put something on top here, since there is new suits. We're gonna have a look at this one. There's also new action groups. You can now have action groups stuff set to your control buttons, as well as, of course, the usual 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0. The translation controls, which is IKJL, as well as steering and stuff. And apparently, yeah, well, I don't know how that differs from that, since that's the same button. But yeah, you can now set stuff to that. Next thing, no new engines or other fuel parts. Nothing new here, nothing new here. This is an entire frickin' like playground full of stuff, though. There is a new category called robotics. Now, we do have rotors. Just put that down here for a moment. You can make those. Oh, you can adjust the amount of attach nodes on the side, which is cool. It doesn't really work for planes, as far as I know, at least from what I've seen from preview videos, but it does definitely work for helicopters. So if I was to attach, let's say, wing, something like this. This wing doesn't work for that. Something like this that should theoretically start going out into space or something. I'm just gonna put some RTGs on here for a moment. They would be here. And we're going to That's gonna be pretty warm. But yeah, we're going to just try this out real quick. I guess you can... Can I... Yeah. I'd actually need to set things for that. However, we can look at the new suit. With camera. Just... also inventory, because Kerbal inventory system apparently is now stock. Oh. You kind of glitched there. Not just breaking ground, also breaking the game. So yeah, these are the new suits. Those apparently glow in the dark if we were to like warp to night. And you put on the lights, those glow in the dark. That's pretty cool. Yeah, you can't really pick up any of this stuff, but you could if you had Kerbal inventory system, I guess. You could make that do stuff. However, action groups, if I was to say now, translate up. Can't exactly do anything. RPM limit? How do I start rotation on this? Oh, I just rotate? Maybe? I don't get it. Let's launch that again. How do these work? Let's figure this out together. Okay, so that is how that works. I use the motor engaged. Well, if I like just make sure that the torque on this is off. Yeah, this doesn't really do anything. Oh. Did there. Ah. Torque limit is what you click. Good. How about 100%? This doesn't really do anything, does it? Apart from making Val go crazy. Just stop this for a moment. You should also probably like have that on top. Oh, that does. However, that kills itself because it's not stable. Not really much of a surprise since I did disable the torque. So yeah, not the greatest, but yeah, rotors exist now. They exist. We're gonna see how much they can really do. What's a whole lot more interesting though? I can just put toggle piston in there, and we're just going to look at all of them. So these are all the pistons in the game. We're just gonna put the toggle on stage here for a moment and launch that thing. So yeah, that's quite the pistons. Can use that as landing legs, for instance. Quite definitely. Like for really huge contraptions. Or for like elevators, stuff like that. That's gonna be really neat on Eve landers and stuff. Then we've got a small hinge. Just going to put this on here for a moment. And then, like, I don't know. Where is... sorry. Something like this. And then... that's the bigger version of that. So for instance, if I say now on gear I want set minimum angle and set maximum angle, or I don't know. I guess you can use like some sort of controller thing. To make that do something more complicated. These are definitely gonna be useful for like SpaceX style landing legs. Because if you send this as the target angle and like attach like, I don't know. It's also this hinge, which is like really big. And of course the bigger version of the other one. Ah, yeah, that's the controller. Open editor. Now, this makes you able to like say, I wanna, for instance, Do I need to put that on the... on the thing I want to control? Or... how does this work? Open editor. How do I... oh, that might be it. Where did I put that? There. Huh. Ah. Okay, I need to actually put that on that controller. Okay. Yeah. I need to put these on there. And then I say like, there, I want you to do this, and there, I want you to do this. Or, like, I don't know. Can also do like absolute values on timing. So it can also just have it go in one direction. At the same time, you can, like, I don't know, have this hinge go from that to that. You can also always add a new thing in here, make that like really snap or something. Or you can just have that on gear, for instance. We can close the editor and just say toggle hinge. And just have, like, I don't know, a frickin' set of structural parts on there to make that kind of look like a SpaceX landing leg or something. I don't know. That doesn't look like one, but you get the idea. And if I launch now, I can of course also set the set the play of the controller to an action group and have that reverse. That's like it's trying to get up. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. And of course I can have that on gear. So that's just a SpaceX landing leg. We'll try that on stream for Falcon 9 replica. So yeah, those are really cool parts, and I cannot wait to actually build stuff with that makes sense and isn't like this kind of contraption here. And then a rotation servo. Ah, okay. So that's like a small rotor. So that's also a thing. That's like the bigger rotors, hinges, and pistons. So that's most of what's new in the parts section, the really exciting stuff. Other than that, I'm just making sure I don't miss anything. Wheels are still the same, landing legs are still the same, thermal is still the same, electric is still the same, communication, science. Science is still the same, utility is also still the same. What is not the same is cargo. And suddenly we have containers that can store stuff. And we have a Probodobodyne experiment control station. Boom. A weather analyzer. The photovoltaic panel. An RTG. The ionographer. The passive seismometer. The ED monitor. And the Communitron ground station. And then we have Val, you're not really useful for this. I'll have an engineer on there, since probably the most useful in setting stuff up. Now, these are science experiments and the stuff you need to run them. For like power stations like the RTG and the solar panels, it actually is more efficient if a engineer deploys them. For all of the experiments, if a scientist deploys them. Now we can, for instance, go to the desert launch site. And for instance, if I really quickly roll off stage here. RIP! Revert flight to launch. That's not how that was supposed to go. Oops. Well, either way, if we just switch to our Kerbal, and you can remove your helmet because you're in atmosphere. This is actually, I cannot, remove the neck ring as well. Really useful. Anyway, so experiment control station, and put that in your inventory. Can we actually climb this? Yes, we can. That's very you can climb up there again, yeah. Okay. Because then we're just going to deploy this. Deploy mode. Is there something like that? There. Then you walk around and then you just press L and J to rotate it the way you want. Like that way, and then you just press space to place it. So that's cool. Then we'll just get some other stuff real quick. I also like that you now have the thing down here, even though like the little camera, even though they're in climb out, climb out, climb out. You should climb over. There we go. And then get, for instance, the photovoltaic panel. Every Kerbal, of course, only has this one inventory slot. Can you... We deployed this, for instance, here. And now this tells us that it has power available for. That's from that. Hello, train. And then you get, for instance, one of the experiments like the weather analyzer. Really? Just go hack yourself. And put that like right here. And that will start up. And the cool thing is, now that that is running, you can have it stand here. And it's just gonna produce I think you'd produce science 0.0045 per hour. Science rate 5%. And then you, of course, have like a comms device and an RTG and more science things. And all of that you can just put up and have that plus a few more around the planet, and they just generate science over time. Like if you now put up a communitron, like right here, I don't think that right here would actually work. Is that close enough? Yeah, no, it isn't. That would have been weird if that was close enough. But if I like put this here, that's an RTG. And the ionographer. Just so you've seen all of them. I'll put them out. And last but not least, the seismometer. that like observes a goo canister there. And then you could just like if you actually had the thing up here, the control thing. I'm just gonna go down and get the control real quick, because that's actually probably more useful up here where we actually have a bunch of stuff. Pick apart. And he's got it in his inventory again. I should have thought about this beforehand. Yep, so that's the wrong button. And then just deploy this here. And then you've got your own little science station. And then, I don't know, it's probably just gonna send them eventually right home by itself. This would need a setup in the actual science or career mode to really know how much this does, but getting a bunch of these set up on different planets is definitely a nice thing that makes base building a whole lot more interesting, that makes missions a whole lot more than just get there, get some rocks, and go away again. So that's generally really appreciated. So that's it with the new parts. However, there is also, well, actually there should be more. There should be one more thing. Yeah, in here. There is 3 sizes of scanner arm. As you see. All the way up until here. Which have different ranges and probably also different like stuff output, science output. And you can put those on rovers and analyze stuff. What stuff? There is new kind of surface features on every planet that you can go up to and analyze. So we definitely have a nice set of new things to do on planets that's not just landing and going away again. You can also like pick some of the parts up with your Kerbal for further analyzation. You can use these rover like arm thingies to analyze these features and I guess other stuff too. And in general, that means we have actual purpose for rovers and missions to other other bodies that aren't just get there, land, get your science, go back. You can send robotic rovers that are like real life Opportunity on Mars or something like that. Or like Curiosity, which actually has, I think, a rover arm for analyzing things. And you can just send a rover there that's robotic and make it go around, analyze stuff, and send the data back. or you can send a rover there with a command seat and have a Kerbal analyze everything. If it's a scientist, again, you get more back from the thing. And just in general, this makes missions a whole lot more interesting. And there's definitely probably going to be, there's most probably also going to be new science contracts that will have you use these parts for analyzing materials and stuff of the new features on other planets. I do not currently know how easy it is to find anything on other planets, and I definitely don't want to spend more time on this episode specifically. So we are going to eventually do a new playthrough with the new parts and like just the bare minimum of mods that we need, which is getting smaller and smaller, the amount of mods that we actually need, since I mean that now added Kerbal inventory system and friggin' infernal robotics and yeah, stuff like that. So it's just really hard to see how I'm gonna even need much more of a set of mods anymore. But yeah, I mean, for instance, Kerbal Engineer I'm still going to have, since the engineer report here, even if with the Delta V readouts and everything, it's not as good as Kerbal Engineer, and even if while flying you have the new UI, that's not as good as the overlay of Kerbal Engineer and stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of the stuff we don't need anymore, a lot of quality of life things that we don't need anymore, and a lot of really cool feature things that we don't need to mod in anymore. Also, stuff like this makes it really easy to... how's that gonna work? Like, really? Okay. You can make really weird contraptions, is what that means. Especially if you use this controller. So yeah, you can have just stuff do stuff. And you saw how that works. I am really glad that this thing is out, and I cannot wait to actually play with it. First thing that I'm actually going to do is use the hinges for SpaceX style landing legs on the Falcon 9 replica. So yeah, look forward to the stream. I'll see you there, and I'll see you back in the fully reusable space program back in 1.6.1 in the next episode of this Let's Play. Till then, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and until next time, I'm WW Dadman. Bye.